You know, what I said in my video about Monique's son, I didn't give him enough credit. Because seeing Monique and her husband, the coward of the man he is, and he's definitely a coward of a man. I can tell he's a coward of a man. Trying to get stern, have some bass in his voice for once, over somebody you supposedly helped raise. That like I said before, I can tell he drove a wedge in between them. Him and Monique gaslit the situation and made things so much worse. And I hope that Cat Williams take her off the freaking tour. I know how much pain that man is going through because I had to disown my own father for pretty much destroying my life. And the only reason I didn't return the favor to him because he is my father. But let's not get it twisted. I have not talked or seen that man. And I made dang sure he don't talk to my daughter either. So Monique's son, all he did was respond to what you said on Club Shay Shay. Getting some false sympathy and empathy from people who didn't really know the situation, and your son stayed quiet. And your son has the ability to destroy both of you. I can see it in his eyes, but because you're his mother, he held off. And he wanted to call Monique's husband, daddy. They probably didn't want to get it confused between her calling him daddy and the son. But you know what? When a kid's growing up and they see a male presence in the house that's supposed to be acting like a father and a leader and a provider, and your mother is showing so much love and admiration for this man, of course, you want to jump on board and be a part of that family, especially when you see other kids so you don't feel left out. Monique's husband has no place in this conversation between her and her son. If anything, she should have tried to call him, not get on the internet. He just replied to what you said on a public internet space. So he replied publicly on a public internet space. Anything outside that should be done in private without your quote unquote daddy. I hope that Cat Williams takes her off the tour. I always said, and I've been saying in all my videos, there is something off about Monique's spirit. And now after seeing that quote unquote husband of hers, I guarantee he's even worse. I guarantee you what Flamer Rose said about her husband is probably much worse. I have a feeling. You don't sit here and gaslight and manipulate a situation and try to chastise somebody who was just being honest. When you came out and try to play everybody. This is why I never supported Monique, and I still will not support Monique. And if you still support her, you're pretty foolish. They just showed why they are difficult to work with. Supposedly, they think it should be a private conversation. Again, it's funny how all these other conversations had to be public, but now they want to be private. I'm going to go ahead and post the response that Monique and her husband did. But it's really sad. It's really sad because I've been through it myself. It hurts when you have to disown a parent. And I get it. He doesn't want them back. or want his mother back, because all he said, he wanted a mother's love. And they're talking about a half of a down payment for a freaking car. Man, a woman who was a multi-millionaire, clearly they didn't have good money management skills since they had to borrow money from Kevin Hart. I forgot his name for a second. All right, you guys tell me what you think. I don't think I'm going to download it, play the video, like, comment, subscribe here at the end. It doesn't matter, but I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.
You would do that right now? Hey, babies.
Hey, hey.
We just wait for y'all to come on in the room so we can have this conversation with our community. What did it say? Oh, we good. Let's rock and roll, baby.
Let's rock and roll. The title of our conversation, or the theme of it, is called The Long Way Around, because ain't no shortcuts. Pickles, stop playing with that paper, please. The reason we're having it is a multitude of reasons, but we're going to start off with, there was a Instagram that was put up, or I guess
It was TikTok, baby.
TikTok that was put up by
My son. My oldest son, Shalon. And this is what I want to say to this. There are some people that are saying, oh, you should be ashamed of your mothering skills. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is what I'll say. Let's let it play out. Because the same ones that said to me, I was crazy, I was deranged, we watched it play out. So just like with my son, we'll watch this play out. And I do want to address this though, Shalon. When you say her daddy, then that's when mommy going to say stop playing, because you know this has been Uncle Sid your whole life. Uncle Sid knew you before you knew you. So for you to say her 3 sons, yes, you're absolutely right. He has 3 sons. He can't claim you as his son because he's always been Uncle Sid, and he knows your daddy very well.
and love that brother. And the irony of all of this is not what is said, but what's left off.
Yes.
See, you're leaving off the fact that the last time we laid eyes on you, your mother got you everything you needed for the newborn baby about 3 years ago. You're forgetting about how I, from Georgia, am talking you through getting your car after we gave you the half the down payment for it. And you were 31 years of age, 32 years of age at that point. And I'm negotiating the deal with the dealer for you as you sit there. And you have the vehicle you're driving right now because of your mother. These are the things that you're leaving out when you're expressing what you're expressing in reference to your mother. You're not expressing the relationship that you have with your father, where you spoke ill to him, not to mention spoke ill to your mother, but somehow your mother and father and I all have a loving relationship and communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. The one thing these individuals, and to the individuals out here that oftentimes speak after they've heard one side of the story, there's an old saying: believe half of what you see and none of what it is that you hear. Please don't take our word for it, but what we will convey is this. Those who are parents and have raised their parents up to being adults.
The children. Raise their children up to being adults.
Right on. Those who are parents that raise their children into adulthood know that there comes a time and a place in which they determine their own decisions, their own path. You can have multiple children that are raised in one house, but they act and they take on different things. The reason why it was so important for us to entertain these conversations that we typically have privately, or that we're influenced to have privately amongst the people in our community, is because we need to stop being embarrassed about being human beings and about being black human beings. You will oftentimes hear us saying we are embarrassing ourselves in front of them. Who is them?
Who are they?
Because when you hear someone articulate these things, that is the slave's mentality that makes us believe that we as black people need to conduct ourselves with dignity because white people are watching. You should conduct yourself with dignity because the spirit of you is watching.
Come on.
But we need to have these conversations out loud and taboo because we have a finite period of time together here on this earth. You will travel through infinity with the spirit that you have all alone, and you will not remember the ridicule that you receive, but you will be judging yourself. You will be determining for the rest of your life which way that you go as you have thus far. So this conversation is about speaking directly to what situations are. And many people oftentimes, when they are presented with an issue, they stay quiet, they hide, they disappear. And what we're saying is that's not who we are, because what you cannot do is you cannot trick an honest person.
Come on.
You can demean, you can say whatever you want to say about them negatively, but what will happen is truth has a way of standing the test of time. I forgot to have my phone to read the last text message that I gave to you, Shalon, where I told you about the understanding of how you are speaking to a woman and how you as a man and how you perceive things may be completely different from how your wife, how your mother, how your sister, how your daughter will look at things. And when you learn how to communicate a little bit better, then things will happen a little bit better. You young man, because of the challenges that this young brother has had with mental illness. So we're communicating that out loud to speak to our community, to say, listen, y'all, if we have more public conversations, there will be less private angst.
Come on.
There will be less private issues that we carry on because we're afraid to communicate in front of white folks.
So when we get to a place where you want to be free, you will stop being scared to say what's real. You'll stop being fearful of having conversations that normally take place in private and nobody ever really knows the outcome. And from there, when you were saying earlier about how we're looking in front of white folks. When I do hear our brother Greg Mathis say, the studio is watching y'all and the executives are watching y'all, so what?
If the executives are watching closely, the individuals that would want to interact with us are those who are engaged and are in alignment with what is true.
Come on.
See, the first question would not be, Stephen A. Smith, why did you video someone? Or you won't entertain Kevin Hart is the biggest star in the world. She said that. Not only did she say that, not only when she spoke about Oprah and Tyler, these are individuals that you failed to hear that she said she loves them. And when you love folks, you tell them what they need to know, not what they want to hear. We've put certain individuals in such a status that we've disallowed them to be human beings. And on the note with taking the long way around and that there are no shortcuts. So you could take the shortcut and cross through Miss Evelyn's yard, but you know she got a pit bull. And he may or may not be in that yard. But you know for sure if you get in that yard and he is in that yard, you will definitely be chased. It is a bit safer to go around the long way because not only is it the right thing to do because you're not cutting through somebody's yard, their grass, trespassing on their property. But what happens is it may be a longer journey, but it's worth the trip. So we're going to take the long way around, and we're not going to call out these individuals on platforms like this. We're going to call them up. Now, please don't confuse. When Monique is standing on stage, she has an artistic paintbrush designed to paint her life and make people laugh in a way in which a comedian is supposed to do. So her life experiences are fair game. They're fair game.
Fair game.
So when she says what she says on stage, please don't say it's the way that she said it. Because she's on stage. We're dealing with, when we're not on stage, what is being said. And again, to revisit Brother Stephen A., I'd like to point something out to you. When you sit there and you say that a black woman looks bitter because she's telling her personal truth, when you sit there and you speak in reference to the individual